Hey guys, Tim with Defense Mechanisms. I want to take a few minutes today and talk about my experience with the MAWL. I've been using the MAWL C1 Plus here, the civilian model, for a couple years now, I think 3 training seasons. Mine is not the original design with the original tail cap, it's like the second design. I think there's a newer version now that has more program modes, but this is the one that I have. I'm sure all of you know more about the actual design and models and stuff like that than I do, but I just kind of want to talk through how I've used it, what I've liked about it, what I haven't liked about it, that kind of stuff. First off, let's understand what I have been doing with this thing. So most of my training, the vast majority of my training is indoor CQB training. A lot of UTM right now. You'll see the rifle is converted for UTM, and it's winter time. I got another month and a half of indoor training before we start mixing in some outdoor stuff typically. This year's been really mild, but that's just kind of our normal training schedule. And so a lot of indoor training, a lot of CQB training, a lot of low light and no light night vision stuff, and but some carbine on the flat range, you know, some engagements on steel out to 200, some of that stuff. But for the most part, I'm not going to really be focusing on the stuff you can see on all of the other videos where all of the guys, you know, go shoot this thing out on their flat range out to distance. I'm not going to be talking about the quality of the illuminator. It's great. There's a million videos about that though. Really going to be focusing on the user interface and just interacting with and using the MAWL and what I like about that, what I don't like about that. So kind of to get this thing rolling, the best part about the MAWL, and I mean everybody talks about this, is ergonomics. I really like the ability to run the MAWL all the way out to the front of my rifle, nearly to the front. You'll see I have an Axon SL sync in front that runs both of my, gives me laser and white light. And I really love that with the MAWL I can run my hand all the way forward, nearly all the way forward on my rail. It doesn't force my hand back. My other rifles that have D-balls, and I'm messing with that Somo Gear Engall clone. They require me to run my hand much farther back behind the unit because the unit sits at 12 o'clock over the rail. So I really love that form factor of the MAWL. I really like being able to get my arm all the way out front, and I think that lets me present the rifle in the way that I have most control, and if I'm, you know, using the rifle for a long time, gives me the most comfort. So I really like that. Switchology, I think the MAWL is really easy and intuitive to use from a switch perspective. You know, it gives you your 2 different modes, and you know, right now I'm in low, there's mid, and then you got to lock it out for high. And there I have 2 different fire buttons that give me different options. Typically for me, I just use one of them and don't pay attention to the other one. It might be more than I need, but really easy to use, very natural, right under my thumb. My thumb kind of naturally rests off to the side here on the MAWL, and it's easy, very easy and natural to slip down to those buttons to activate the laser, and it doesn't really require me to break my grip, which is something I really don't like. I don't like having to break my grip to manipulate my accessories. So I think that the MAWL is really nice in that regard. Really easy to activate, really easy to switch modes. One of the things, my kind of first gripe, is I don't love that the propeller, right? I don't love that I have to reach out in front of my muzzle to switch the modes. Now I went from off to Vis, and now I'm in an IR mode. I don't love that I have to do that out in front of the unit. It's not my favorite. I don't love having to put my hand out there where my muzzle is. Is it the end of the world? No, it's not the end of the world. I don't love it. It'd be nice if it was in the rear. I understand real estate wise that they just might not have it, and they had to make, you know, the decisions that they made. I'm not absolutely in love sticking my hand out there where a hot suppressor is or where a bare muzzle is, and adjusting modes. Is it the end of the world? No, not at all. My next gripe kind of also is related to the propeller. And on mine, you'll see there's a couple tiny little holes here, and it turns out you really need to lubricate these lightly, thin little machine oil, but a little bit of lubrication in these tiny holes. Mine was to the point before I think Bill Pete from TMVC is the one who told me where and how to lubricate it, and you'll see right now. I'll shut up and you can listen. Real tactile, very good clicks. The detents are moving, everything is working as it should, stopping at every point with nice loud clicks. Very tactile and very functional. But before I lubed it, I would have to use tools. I mean, it would be so tight in the cold that I couldn't get it with my bare hands. I'd have to grab a plier out to turn my laser on, or to switch into IR Vis. And so definitely make sure if you are running a MAWL, and maybe they've fixed this on later models, maybe they have self-lubricating polymers, I don't know. But on mine, it needs to be lubricated, and you know, that's like a once a year, 2 drops of oil, you know, 1 in each hole kind of thing. But it made a night and day difference for me, and so that was kind of a gripe until it wasn't. The only other thing I wish the MAWL did, and you've heard me talk about this a few videos now, I wish it had Vis Override. There's really no reason that it shouldn't, that it can't. You know, in a Vis mode, the IR emitters are blocked by the propeller, but in the IR mode, the Vis, and on my propeller anyway, the Vis emitter is still open. And so it certainly is just it's a programming situation where they have 2 crane ports in the back. One of those crane ports could have been for Vis Override, and I would have really appreciated that. Night vision is an awesome technology, but it is not, you know, it is not a standalone technology. You cannot just work under night vision and guarantee that you will never have to use white light. You know, you can't always PID under night vision. Sometimes your focus isn't set right, and so if you come around a corner and there's a target immediately in front of you, and your focus is set for, you know, 5 yards, but you might not be able to see it at 1.5 yards, 2 yards, and so you might have to go white light and get underneath your tubes to see that. And so I really appreciate when the designers of the laser give me a Vis Override. I've been finding that you know, we're all used to using the laser to aim under night vision, and the more night vision I train, the more I really enjoy that. And I had found myself starting to want to use the laser all the time. And so Vis Override, you know, the fact that the MAWL doesn't have Vis Override, it's a limiting factor for me. I can't have my rifle set up for night vision, but have a guaranteed aiming point, you know, if I have to go to white light. Now, it's not the end of the world, because if I have to go to white light to identify the target, you know, I look under my tubes, I push the button, I get my white light. In this setup, the way I'm running this right now, I still get laser, right? But I'm getting an IR laser. I can't see it with my naked eye, but it's there. So if I roll under my tubes, I get white light and an IR aiming point. I realize that is a target that needs to be shot. I drop my tubes back down. Even with the white light on, I can still see my IR landing point, and I can engage the target. I would rather, in an IR mode, I hit the white light button and I get a Vis Override where I can see green laser and white light, so I don't have to go up, down in my tubes. I can just go up, realize that's a threat, thank you white light, now I have an aiming point and I can engage. I can also always get into my red dot. I think the laser's faster, and I've come to really rely on it a lot for very close range engagements. Again, the laser's not the perfect answer for everything. It's not the perfect answer outside most of the time. It's not the perfect answer at distance. It will never be as precise as your red dot, but for really close engagements, it is very fast, and I have really come to like it. And so if B.E. Myers is listening, make me a MAWL that has Vis Override. I would love it. Also, stuff's getting a lot smaller these days, so I would give up a button here. I'd give up a button for some shrink it, make it small, put it in the dryer. And that would be maybe my only other gripe, right? Is that, you know, today we're dealing with NGALs. Holosun has a bunch of lasers now with a very small form factor. The OGL is coming out. We are seeing lasers shrink in size, and the MAWL is a bit of a pig. I think it uses its size to its advantage in a lot of ways. You know, we have 2 fire modes instead of 1. That gives us options. I don't know that I really utilize that enough to make it worth it, but I don't hate that it's there. And the MAWL being off center to the 12 o'clock rail, it means that it being big isn't a big problem for me. But certainly, I would love to see them, you know, in the future come out with another you know, shrunk down version of this that had Vis Override with only 1 button, mode select somewhere back here on the unit where it's not reaching out in front of the muzzle. Vis Override, I'll say it like 6 more times probably. I think that they can do it. I think that, you know, we're seeing the size come way down on these units, and I think that a MAWL that was shrunk down, you know, 50% would be pretty incredible. All in all, even with a couple of the drawbacks that I mentioned, I'm still happy to run this unit. This is right now my backup rifle, but not because it's not good enough, not because there's anything wrong with the rifle or the MAWL. It's right now I'm messing with that Sumo Gear end gall and Vis Override, and as I continue to say, I am in love with Vis Override. So the other rifle gives me that, and I'm putting miles on that, you know, Chinese toy laser to see if my results are as good as a lot of the results people are getting. If it continues to hold zero for me, if I like it under nods, if it works on the range. And so there's lots more testing to do. So I'm always traveling with two rifles because I don't trust that, you know, I don't trust that cheap little toy yet. But it does things that I want enough that I'm willing to put this rifle in the bag and use that one for training. So I don't know if that means that you know, everybody should get rid of their MAWLs. But for me, there's a couple lacking features that lead me to pick up something else. Hopefully, this gives you some just basic my thoughts on the MAWL, some of the things that are great. This thing is super ergonomic. I love the Switchology. I love having my hand all the way to the end of the rail. And just a couple little things that could be improved. Again, hope this helps. Woo! If you have any questions about this rifle, my MAWL setup, anything like this, or anything else, hit us up at contact@defensemechanisms.com. Like, subscribe, share, follow all on our social channels. We'd love to hear from you guys. Send us your ideas, send us your needs, send us what we're doing right, what we're doing wrong. We love to hear from you guys. Hopefully you learned something, and I'm sure I'll see you on the next one.